and welcome to this latest in the series of videos about Elvenhome and the building of my model railway. I thought I'd start today. I've just put the chip in and started running in this model of the rebuilt Royal Scot 6100, so 460 engine, which strictly speaking is an era 9 engine, so a bit out of the period that I'm trying to model. But rule 1 applies. It's my railway and I can run on it what I like. I mean, the Royal Scots did run, but this was rebuilt whilst in preservation, and I actually saw this engine in these colours. Don't think it's running in these colours now. Can't remember whether it's moved to LMS black or early British Railways black, because it had some problems shortly after I saw it on the West Somerset Railway some years ago. When I managed, one of the other things I like doing is as a photographer, steam engines. And I've got a line-side pass for the West Somerset Railway. So being right down trackside as this thing goes by is really quite special. And at this point I'll try and put up the picture of the engine. But it's just running in now. It's gone one way, so it's on its return journey. Hearth and Hobbies were having a 20% off sale of Farish products, so that seemed like a jolly good reason to go down there. And at the same time I managed to buy also, let's focus in a bit more on this one, a J39. That's not yet had its chip put in or been run in, which is why it's sort of sitting there in a state of preservation. But the Royal Scot is really beautiful looking engine, and I'm really looking forward to getting that running. And the detail parts that you get, the normal bag of detail parts, but also some etched, you can actually see these. You won't be able to read them, but those are etched nameplates which need to be put on the side, top of which says quite clearly Royal Scot, and then a lot of dots and dashes for obviously some what must be on the engine as in preservation. So it doesn't have its nameplates on just yet, but it will have shortly. I also had a wonderful time at Warley. I know there are mixed views about the Warley Model Railway show, and it is certainly true that men of a certain age with a backpack on are a living danger. They don't seem to understand when they turn around the backpack is wider than they are. But there were 90 layouts at Warley, quite apart from the trade stands and the rest. And if you want inspiration as a modeller, I can't think of anywhere better to go. At all gauges actually, there was a superb O gauge layout. I didn't take any videos there because I'm not that good at doing videos, and there are plenty of other people if you want to go and have a look. I think if you go to Penn Withers, I think Kevin rather, had done a superb video of his trip to Warley, as have many others. Many of you who seem to subscribe to me have also put them up. But even over 2 days, and I did go there for both days, I didn't get properly to look at all the 90 layouts as much as I'd like, but I did get lots of inspiration and encouragement to get on with things. Quite apart from the purchase of an odd item or two, which again there's a photograph going up just about now of my purchases, principally of Hawksworth coaches, but also micro switches, which are the things that I needed for the for wiring my double slips, and more of that shortly, and other bits and pieces. I also had a demonstration of soldering, which I've been trying to come together, trying to get to grips with. I'm soldering okay, but it's not as good as it could be. But 10 minutes with someone who really knows what they're doing, and suddenly you can understand things. So I should do a little bit more practice, because I've got an awful lot of soldering coming up, as I'll explain shortly. But that was just the introduction while this train carries on. It's nearly finished its running in, so I'll let it finish its running in, and then I'll do the next section, looking at what's happened on the model railway. See you in a moment. Okay, well, welcome back. Now we're looking at the layout. The Royal Scot's fully run in. The J39 will have to be done a bit later. Quite a bit, really. I think I've done more. You always think you haven't done very much. You may see that in the centre here that there is more cork has now been laid for the. There we go. Has been laid where the motive power depot is and where the main running lines run through. That was an interesting exercise, because all the track fitted nicely together before I lifted it up, and then when I put it back down again, some of the straight sections that link between points, particularly on the main lines actually, were not the right length again. Not quite sure what happened there, but either way, the good thing is it all does now fit this, and it is pretty much, I think, as it's finally done. I've actually marked, and if we can get close enough to see, you may see by the points little black marks. Which one's that? Just around here, which is where the holes will be drilled for the point motors. I'd hoped actually to have done some of those by now, but it is quite a big task. There's 21 point motors, or 22 in all, which need to be fitted, and I think frankly that's going to be something that will happen over Christmas, because I'm off from the evening of the 23rd and I don't go back till about the 9th of January. So that's going to be quite a lot of time to be able to do those, put all those point motors in and permanently fix down the track on the board. But we do have, I was saying about my Warley stash, and I think I've already shown a photo of the Hawksworth coaches that I got, which does now mean that I can run a prototypical length train. If I can come back out again. No, let's try going out. That's always good for a laugh. There we go. As you can see, we have here a 10 coach train behind an A1, which seems to me to be a much better length for the thing. Let's see if we can get it to actually go now. That'd be quite good. Which really helps when you start going across the viaduct bridge. And then the train wends its way around. Oh, you can't see that, there's the wall there. That's no use, is it? And the train runs back in and round towards Weathertop. Very pleasing that the when I did Weathertop, it was built, guessing, well, using some figures, for a 10 coach train, and it fits almost perfectly. I've overrun the platform there a little bit. Oh dear, that's probably past the signal of danger at the same point. But that's quite happy there. The parts that make up the station have now been stuck together, which was quite interesting, because once, there you go, that's more like it. So the parcels office and the delivery point has all been, they're now stuck as a complete thing. And that's made quite a bit of difference actually. It becomes one model, it looks really rather good. The little white lean-to thing on the platform was to see whether, if I bought the Metcalfe platform canopy, the minimum height below the canopy, the engines would clear, which as you can see they do. So when I was at Warley, one of the things I managed to get, which was a very good buy, these are £16.50 each, these platform canopies. Let's see if I can, there you go. A beautiful etched kits, so I'm really looking forward to making these. And one of the traders was doing 3 for 2 on any Metcalfe kits, so 3 of those disappeared in the bag. And I'm going to scratch build the buildings, because the kits which are yet to be released by Metcalfe are slightly different sizes, and I think I can scratch build those. And I bought some nice etched windows and 1 or 2 other things. So again, over Christmas, I'm going to be very busy over Christmas. That will be another thing that we've got to do, which will replace that, and that will give me a nice long run in the centre of the platform. I'll need somewhere at one end where the parcels will come back up another ramp. If you'll remember, parcels go down a ramp and then up into the island platform. In addition, we also have, if I come down here, there we go, we now have power into the branch line, which means that a branch line train can now make its way up to High Elven, and away it goes. At the moment it's got a 3rd, I think, coach on the back, but one of the things I saw at Warley was the painted samples of the auto coach, which is what I'm actually going to be using. I'll just get it to stop at Grey Havens on its way up there. That's just a lash-to of a platform and a shelter, which you can just see that it's stopped at the moment. That's based on a platform on the West Somerset Railway, although the shelter building needs more walls to bring round to it. Let's go in a bit further. There we go. That little engine has no trouble pulling one. In fact, it can pull 3 coaches up quite happily. And the section that it's just leaving, generally it's a 2% incline that I built in, but for that last bit, instead of raising half an inch a section over 2 foot, it raises a full inch, so that moves it to 4%. Has no difficulty doing that. And the bigger engines actually will pull up 8 or 9 coaches, so I'm quite pleased with their pulling power. But having stopped, it then moves around, and it will move around to the buffers. Come into shot in a moment. There she comes. But that really does look good. I'm very impressed. As you know, I said I like the little pannier. I've always liked watching those things go. Also at Warley, the micro switches were bought to enable me to start wiring up point motors. And it's amazing in this hobby, how things suddenly fall into place for you. Because as you know, I've been worrying about wiring up double slips and where do all the wires go. One of the things I bought at Warley was the Pico N-Gauge guide they've just brought out. And although I've seen the wiring diagrams many times and not made head nor tail of them, for some reason when I looked at it in this book it all made sense. I've lashed together underneath here, this is really a test board. And this is the micro switch. And the frogs from each end of this double slip, one frog wire goes into each micro switch. So the micro switch deals with the polarity switching for the whole of the double slip. Which means actually when I was at Warley, because I'd already bought these micro switches, that I've got twice as many micro switches as I need. So I suspect I should be on to eBay fairly soon and to get rid of those. But suddenly it all makes sense and it doesn't cause me any worry about wiring it up. It's just the time it will take and getting everything set in, which is why it's going to be something over Christmas. And I will try and do, as I promised, when I come to do the double slip that's over on its own little separate board, try and video that, just because it's one of those things that if you see it done, it makes things so much simpler. One of the things I did at Warley also was sit down with a guy that was doing soldering demonstrations. And you see him do it and it's so simple and it works so easily with just a few bits of preparation. And I was doing preparation but not necessarily to the right things. I've also now, if we come down to here, and come in a little bit. There you see where the switches will be for the point motors. They're all in place. With the Mimic panel, that's just at the moment on photographic paper. But the colour coding will be the colour coding that will help me with the switches themselves. So they're all in the order that they would be to help me do all the switching. And that's where they will sit, and that's where I will control all the point motors from. I've got one more of those switches to buy. I thought I'd bought enough, but I hadn't, so there we go. And the 3 on the far right hand side will be controlling the double switch and the right hand turnout that takes the train into the, well, one helps change trains to cross tracks, but also takes the line into the bay platform. And again over Christmas, that's going to be a very busy time over Christmas, I'm going to power up that part of the track and get cork laid on the last bits that need doing. So it's a good job I've got 2 weeks off work, because I don't know how I'd get it done otherwise. Go back to work for a rest really. That's about all the updates so far. Oh no, I've forgotten one other thing, which again I must stop looking at. There we go. That piece of polystyrene, 1 inch polystyrene, just slightly over, is there because it is going to be a coaling stage. If you've ever seen a GWR coaling stage where the coal wagons are driven up a ramp into the top of a building and the coal is either unloaded or the wagon tipped to drop through so that the engine is driven below and the coal comes down straight into the tender. And there's a wonderful kit out which perhaps Santa might bring me, I don't know. If not, I shall go and be my own Santa. There's a wonderful kit which I saw, which I can't remember who make it. I'll put the try and put the name up so I can remember who it is that actually produce it. And I think that will look brilliant. I'm not intending actually to run trains up and down the ramp, so I think the incline will not be prototypical. I think I probably need something like 30 or 40 inches to get the right, even at a 4% incline, and it'll be a bit less than that. But as I will just station a couple of wagons up there, and I don't intend to run trains up, that will just be for scenic effect. But I think that will look tremendous, and it'll help break what would otherwise be a very flat landscape. And give a nice divide, because just beyond where the coaling stage is will be the road and the houses for Bagshot Row. So that's going to be quite good. I'm going to look forward to getting that in at some point. Now that really is it. I think that's everything that I intended to pick up in this which was meant to be quite short. I suspect it's gone on rather more than I intended. But with a bit of luck, I might post another one before the end of the year. If I do actually get quite a bit done, but more likely it will be into the new year. So this is likely to be my last video. I'm grateful to all of you, particularly new subscribers. I've picked up more subscribers since the last video. But obviously to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. I think I'm allowed to say that. It is actually the 11th of December, and I put the Christmas tree up yesterday. So I think I'm feeling suitably festive, and also to wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year, and look forward to speaking to you possibly before the end of the year, but certainly early into the new year. So thank you for watching. If you've please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next year. Bye bye.